There was a time when Republicans were on the same page and they would unconditionally support Donald Trump. That time is over, and Mitch McConnell is so fed up he won't even say Trump's name. And he has some choice words for that communist canoodling Tucker Carlson, and I have the full story coming up next. If you follow Kamala HQ on X, it's one of the accounts of the Harris campaign. You may have already noticed they have theme days for the dismantling of Donald Trump. And today's theme is immigration. You know, that topic that Trump is struggling to make stick? And not just because of his own campaign idiocy, also because Republicans are turning on him and exposing his shady efforts to pull strings and create chaos from behind the scenes. In this report, I will break down the highlights from the Harris HQ onslaught, including McConnell's choice words for Trump and Carlson in just a minute. It began with the post that read, Trump says he killed the bipartisan deal to secure the border because it made it much better for the opposing side.
Number one, that, but it also made it much better for the opposing side.
Regularize, manage the crisis.
You couldn't manage.
Trump said much better. Will his Republican colleagues agree? The next post said, here's a montage of Republicans pointing out that the border is not solved because Donald Trump killed the border deal. And I paired those with Lindsey Graham showing his frustrations.
I think the border is a very important issue for Donald Trump. And the fact that he would communicate to Republican senators and congresspeople that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling.
I'm extremely disappointed in the very strange maneuvering. It's inconsistent with what we told our voters we would do. But it would be a pretty unacceptable dereliction of your duty.
Everybody who comes on this floor and says our border's broken, we should do something about it, you're absolutely right. And unfortunately, we didn't get there. President Trump opposed a Senate bill. We couldn't find a better way forward that would get 60 votes. I hate that.
So Lindsey Graham could at least say the words Donald Trump, but in a few seconds you'll see that Mitch McConnell could not when it was his turn to unload. But first, because a fillet of Trump is best served with a side of Fox News, that is, Kamala HQ added these two incriminating videos from their favorite channel to the dog pile.
I know you're not trying to zing your colleagues, but it's your colleagues in your party, sir, who torpedoed this, who didn't get the facts right on what you just outlined was in that measure. They killed it. Ironically, not Democrats.
Right. It was, and it was painful to be able to watch it. It got stirred up in all the presidential politics, and several of my colleagues started looking for ways after President Trump said don't fix anything during the presidential election. It's the single biggest issue during the election. Don't resolve this.
Why can't you actually move the needle on securing the border? I understand you need a willing partner on the other side, and you haven't had that. But it's frustrating to see all of these illegals coming in and the drugs flowing in, and really no movement.
The problem is the Republicans, not the Democrats. We know how the Democrats are going to vote. It's too many of my Republican colleagues are unwilling to vote to secure the border.
And now for Mitch McConnell, the Republican minority leader of the Senate. He's not an overly emotional man, but he's clearly emoting his disgust for Donald Trump in this clip, and he even leaves some room to take a swipe at Tucker Carlson's influence over the party and apparent affinity for a certain Russian leader.
I know the answer. I think the demonization of Ukraine began by Tucker Carlson, who, in my opinion, ended up where he should have been all along, which is interviewing Vladimir Putin. And so he had an enormous audience, which convinced a lot of rank-and-file Republicans that maybe this was a mistake. I think the former president had sort of mixed views on it. We all felt that the border was a complete disaster, myself included. And Chad, you remember covering the phases we went through. First, there was an effort to make law, which requires you to deal with Democrats. And then a number of our members thought it wasn't good enough. And then our nominee for president didn't seem to want us to do anything at all. That took months to work our way through it.
I think there is two levels to the video series posted today by Kamala HQ. The first is obvious. Trump's immigration angle and his strategic misfire has been a failure. When your own party outs you, that is a flaming Hindenburg of political failure. And the other thing I think the videos reveal is they are done with the guy. They don't want to work with him. They don't want to follow him as their leader, and they don't think he can win. So they feel comfortable being intellectually honest on the floor and on the TV screen. They are no longer united with Trump, but they are united in their disdain for Trump. I'm Dan. Thanks for watching, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.